Now
That's what I
recording.
do while Audaxius is AFK.
Well, here's what we're doing.
We can do a lot.
Let's see if we can get the whole episode done before he gets back.
Go.
You can watch
All right,
Dr.
this is
Zhivago.
welcome to Screws Podcast. It's I'm Commander Jantrax. It's the 265th episode for the 19th of December in 2024.
33.
That's right. I'm Commander Jantrax, and you're listening to the loosest and screwiest podcast in the whole galaxy. I'm joined tonight by Commander Oblivious.
Yeah, I just found the elf. I just realized he looks like Waldo.
And Commander Lark Shadow, or is it Lark Shade now? Or are we going with the commander name?
It's what is my commander name? Is my commander is what? How did that happen? I thought it was Larkshade this whole time.
Lark Shadow is your commander name, but at some point you changed in Discord. Now you're Lark Shade in Discord.
Yeah, it's Larkshade. I think I need to put in a request to change that in game too. I thought it was the other.
So this whole for
I am.
years now, Lark hasn't known his own name. Okay, also joining me is Commander Bloomingwind.
Hello.
And Audaxius is here, but he popped in and was like, "Hold on, I'll be right back." And he doesn't know that we've started the podcast.
Back.
Oh shit!
You can't get rid of me.
Damn it! We only got through the naming everybody. I thought we were going to try to do the whole episode.
Hello.
Well, might as well do the long version of highs then.
All right, I guess we can talk about how we've been doing.
Fine.
All right, Audaxius, what have you been up to this past week?
In game, we beat the Thargoids. We won the Thyroid War, as my phone continually insists.
Thyroid.
Will never not be funny.
And in real life, I have been managing the aftermath of realizing that my daughter had a skull fracture.
Oh,
my God.
A month and a half ago that went under the radar, and now we have to have this whole routine to make sure she doesn't have this like permanent scarring on her cheek.
Oof.
Oh
Yeah,
my God.
wild. Yeah, she had a fall a month and a half ago, and I remember thinking like that's a serious black eye for her not falling very far. And we got her evaluated, and yeah, she broke her cheekbone.
Oh, goodness.
Ow.
Yeah, it was wild. Yeah, I had a meeting with a plastic surgeon, and I have infinite respect for medical professionals. I just I'm not sucking up to you, Bloom, of course.
I figured you
I don't
weren't
need
sucking
to.
up to me because I'm on that list of all medical professionals that you have respect for. I figured
Yeah.
I'm right at the bottom. All other
it is
professionals,
Who needs
and
the
then
heart?
Bloomingwind.
Oh, who needs the heart anyway? Lord knows mine's not even there anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mine
I just
exploded
love
with
seeing
Coffee Joe tea or whatever.
I love seeing a seasoned professional who's just perfectly competent at what they do. So that was cool. We had a really good doctor, and she'll be okay. Yeah. So
Tough
that's
kid.
me. Days in the life of Daxi.
Shit.
And my wife, and I put this in general chat this morning, my wife called me Audaxius, and I about melted. I about just died on the inside. I said, don't ever do that again.
It's the best thing ever, and I hope she
Said,
does more.
only my secret space friends get to call me that.
That's our word.
That's our word. You can't take that from us. Yeah. Yeah, so that's it.
Okay.
Who's next? What about you, Malark Shade?
What?
See,
We were
Malarkey.
just talking about names.
No,
What
yeah,
about
Dax,
you?
you missed the thing where after all these years, I just realized that my commander name says Lark Shadow, and I've been going by Larkshade. And
Oh
so
my
now I need
God.
to change my commander name because I like Larkshade more.
I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to switch, but anyway.
I'm just going to call
Oh,
you
shoot.
Lampshade from now on.
Up until like yesterday, I've been playing more Elite than I ever have. I've been doing more anti-Xeno stuff than I ever have.
Hell yeah.
And my stalwart Diamondback Scout, the Spectricide, is now resting.
Spectricide.
Yeah, I named it after a brand of wasp killer because I'm allergic to
Okay.
bees and wasps, and I thought it appropriate.
Your audio, I heard. I'm allergic to geese and wasps.
I'm allergic to bees and wasps.
Okay.
Bees that last.
I heard that too, but I was going to let it go.
You're a geese and wasp. Whatever. How
Yeah.
are you, Oblivious?
I'm going to name my next ship Roundup. So I've got a faceplant story. My daughter was in town last week, and I was walking her two standard poodles. And these two women came walking by, and they were gushing about how pretty the dogs were, and walked past them and kept going. And then I heard them both scream, and a smack. And I turned around, and one of the women was on the ground. She hit her face. And apparently what she did, she turned to look back one more time at the poodles and stepped on a small stick with about a 2-inch diameter, and her feet just went right out from under.
Oh my
Smack.
She wasn't
Like-
turning to take a look at the poodles. She was taking a turn to look at the thick, oblivious booty.
It's just like that meme, right?
It's like
That
Sodom,
was-
it's like
that's
Sodom and
possible.
Gomorrah. You can't turn around and look.
Yep. Yeah. They're going to go look at the man that's got 35 years on their age. Yep. Yeah. I'll buy that one. Sure. Thanks.
That's the thing now.
It's,
Yeah. Stroking the ego. I like it. Okay.
Poodles are nice dogs.
And the other thing I'll tell you is, if you ever get a chance, you're so happy about the medical profession, but you get a chance to talk to Bloom one-on-one, not in a podcast, you hear a lot of stories that makes you worry about the medical profession. So be careful.
Yeah, I'll maintain blissful ignorance until I get massively disappointed one day.
Speaking of which, Bloom, what you been up to?
Yeah, I'm all about how the sausage is made. Speaking of
This
things
is this is
that'll
one of
make
those
you,
things like people who got a C in medical school are still doctors.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
my
it's the
version
person that
I
graduates bottom of his class in medical
Yes.
school called doctor.
yeah.
Yeah. No, we were actually talking about that today, believe it or not. It's just, it sort of falls into the category of complaining about the residents these days and complaining about the medical students these days. And, a lot of it's not their fault. It's just a long time ago, there was something called the Libby Zion case, where basically a New York socialite heiress overdosed or something, and the resident who was taking care of her hadn't had a good night's sleep and in the emergency room or something, and she had a bad outcome that had nothing to do with his sleep deprivation, but really had to do with the fact that she didn't tell what medication she was actually taking, because there was a drug interaction that he wasn't aware of, not because he was sleep deprived, but because she didn't tell him what she was on. Anyway, so over the years, work hour restrictions, rules for how much work a resident has to do, or is asked to do, and all of that sort of thing has gotten less and less and less over time. And probably the sweet spot, and I'm sure every generation says this, was around the time that I was training. I was getting a good little bit of sleep when I was on call, and I had got enough work to do that I was learning from what I was doing and whatnot. Anyway, so wind the clock forward to now, and the work hour restrictions for the residents are pretty strict, and now they're beginning to apply a lot of stuff to the medical students. And then a lot of these folks are very concerned about their work-life balance and things like that, as opposed to learning how to be a doctor. And one of my colleagues came in, and he was complaining about how he finally it's dawned on him that the pendulum swung too far the other way. And I'm like thinking to myself, I've been like this. I've been talking about this stuff for years. And, because his concern was that there gets to be a point where now some of the med students and some of the residents are complaining if their patient is wearing a T-shirt with a statement on it that they don't agree with, or when they go into a patient room, the patient is watching a news station that they might not agree with the editorial stance on. And I'm like thinking to myself, okay, I really don't care what they're watching, and I don't care what they're wearing, and I'm just here to take care of sick people. You know what I'm saying? And the kids these days, they're kind of getting a little squishy. And anyway, it kind of dovetailed into something that happened to me over the weekend, where I was trying to get a hold of an ortho resident for 6 hours because I went and saw a patient in consultation, and the guy was going into what's called compartment syndrome, where he
Yeah.
was bleeding into his surgical site in his forearm. And I thought he was, but as a cardiologist, I don't do forearms. So I page the resident, doesn't call me back. I grab the nurse, drag her into the room, show her what's going on, ask her to get ortho to come see the patient, and then have them call me immediately. She says, okay. About 4 hours later, the trauma team who took over the service or took over the patient's care calls me up. They're not sure that it's compartment syndrome or not. They're waiting for ortho to come by. 2 hours after that, ortho calls me up, the resident. And I'm like, and I answer the phone and he's like, did you page me? Did you page me 6 times? And I said, I paged you once. The nurse paged you the other 5. Why didn't you answer my page? And he said, I turned off my pager. I'm post-call. And I said, excuse me? He's like, I turned off my pager. I'm post-call. I was like, well, who's covering for you? Silence. And I was like, well, somebody needs to be covering for you. And no one can figure out who it was. And we needed to get a hold of somebody because there's a problem with this patient. And he's like, but I'm not working. And I'm like, I know. You've told me that multiple times. But anyway, we've got a problem. And I need some orthopedic person to get here and see him. And if you can't figure it out, you need to figure out who it is and tell us who it is, or tell them to get over and help us. So eventually the patient, so anyways, so the patient was having compartment syndrome. They were able to open it up and relieve the pressure, and all was right with the world. But I was just like, dude, I mean, like, for what I do, one of the hospitals I work at, I'm the only doctor who does that for a living. So when I go on vacation, like I'm going on vacation next week, I will get called with, we got a problem of, we have a patient we need to run by you. I was in Australia. I was woken up at 3 a.m. with, hey, we have a consult for you. We want you to run by you. And I'm like, okay, because I'm the only person who can do this in this hospital. And I've accepted that. And so I told this guy, listen, you got to be a little bit more dedicated to your job. Maybe not psychotic dedicated like me, but you got to be a little bit more. Maybe I'll answer the telephone when someone's paging me 6 times.
You didn't pick a field where you can clock out quite like that. Yeah,
exactly.
The business of life and death.
All that, and FDev still won't give Blooming Win a free ship.
They will not.
It is a old but wise saying that hard times make hard people, and hard people make soft times, and soft times make bad doctors.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Is that a saying though?
I may have just made it up.
Paraphrase.
There's something to it.
Paraphrase.
Paraphrase from reality.
I was close enough.
Can you deal with like that accent?
I don't do accents.
Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, it's a new year, everybody. Audaxius doesn't do accents.
Yeah,
You sit on the throne of lies.
Regular English speaking American. That's me.
Oh my God.
What is happening?
Jesus.
Turn your head and cough.
So,
Well, chaps.
that's it, huh?
Is
Good
it
show,
just
guys.
Great
me?
show, guys.
Yeah, great
Oh,
job.
fantastic. Thanks for watching, everybody. Listening, whatever you do. What's that? Is it?
How was your week, Drax?
Oh, yeah. Kind of busy week, but we did blow up that thing.
We did blow up that thing.
Yes. So I did stay up till 1:45 in the morning to
I have a
watch
story about that when you're done.
Coffee Joe blow up. Coffee Tea Joe, the great uniter between the loose screws and burr pit communities, finally settling the debate. Coffee or tea? The answer is they both blew up. And now we can be friends. So I was there when it blew up. I stayed up entirely too late, and it was horrible. I felt like I was sick the next day, but I did the thing anyway because I was pretty busy with work this week too, so I couldn't go back to bed. I stayed up. I had to get up 3.5 hours later to get my ladies off to work and school. Anyway, I haven't done all that much else, so that's fine. that can ride. I did my power play weeklies, and that's it. Which I kind of
Good
enjoyed,
man.
actually. I did everything except the
See?
scanning mega ships
What a
one.
turnaround! You were you were a naysayer. See,
Yeah, I
I'm
was
happy. I'm
okay, so
happy.
here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. I was a naysayer because I didn't get it. And then I thought I got it, right? It was going to be this like extra difficulty mode where NPCs were going to be coming at you all the time. But then by the time it went public, they'd patched out all the difficulty. And so now it is just playing the regular game, but you can also get merits if you want. And as far as I can tell, there is no added difficulty whatsoever. So now I'm back to thinking, whatever. I'm kind of doing it because it's, I don't know,
It seems
new.
fun.
Seems new. It was all right. I didn't mind it. So there was 10 weekly tasks last week. This week I've just signed in and I find. Oh no! Wait, it says 10 now. Only 7 showed a few minutes ago. So I guess, are we getting 10 a week now? That's a good. I like that. More variety.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a bug or not. I've seen that. I've seen enough people report that if it's a bug, it's commonplace and also not a problem. So is it really?
Yeah,
a bug?
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row, right?
Yeah,
I think it's an
quote, bug.
unbug
I don't mind it.
because
I'll allow it.
there's no Thargoids now. So
I think they just realized they made some changes to it. I so far I haven't found any like uncompletable ones that was coming up before. I didn't personally, and the chatter seemed to have slowed down about that. So hopefully the uncompletable ones are going away.
Yeah.
And having 10, I think is a nice number. You know, you can pick your favorites from it. There's a few on here this week that I'm probably not going to do.
Yeah. How
yeah.
is the chatter going over in Delain space? Are enough of you able to read so that you can type?
Oh,
and
we
communicate to each other?
all wear a crown of bones.
Can enough of those guys read that saying to know how cool it is? I'm just wondering. Just a question. I don't frequently.
Whatever you don't.
It's the only Discord that's all in Klingon.
It's all just combat and honor, nothing else.
Delain. Yeah, it's all combat.
It's not all combat, but I think people who tend towards combat end up over here in this part of space. We have a lot of we're stuck in the middle of Grom and Archer and Mahon.
It's the Klingon crew for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, we were at crossroads before. We are really at crossroads now.
A rather crude, underdeveloped, warlike people. Yeah,
Jesus,
it's fine.
they have a culture. Thank you very much.
I wear a incredibly uninteresting crown of bureaucratic policies, so I realize I don't have that much room to talk.
To any Delain listeners, I will give you 100 million credits if you find and kill Audaxius.
Well,
Just
you gotta
send a screenshot.
really dumb it down. Hold on, let me translate that for you. So any Delain listeners, Lark Shadow have big money by big ship. Talk him soon. Sorry.
Now do it in Klingon.
if you want a kill order from Delain, just tell them Audaxius does power play in solo.
I gotta say, in the whole power play saga, it's only been a few months. That is one of the coolest things that at least one faction has said voluntarily. This is the only way we do it because it's fair, or whatever the reason is. Actually, I don't really care what the reason is. Is the idea that doing it in solo is shameful? I'm like, yes, absolutely. If they're not going to put the in-game limiter on it, which God knows if they're ever going to revisit that, they get big props for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, okay, it's time to move on. Let's do a squad update. Is there a squad update? I'm just looking at the notes and it just says nothing. It doesn't say nothing, but I'm not going to read what it says. What's happening here with that?
Bloom's on call.
Yeah, Bloom's on call. Yeah, no. So, squadron
Bloom's
update,
clocking out. Good luck, everybody's heart.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. The squadron update is that I've been doing anti-Xeno activities for the last 3 weeks, and I'm taking a little bit of a break from the BGS, and I've talked about this behind the scenes with a number of our commanders. I'll be honest, a little bit frustrated with what's going on in our space right now, and it's basically a lot of our holdings are just being burnt to the ground, and we don't know why. We don't know from whom. And I'm just like, you know what? Maybe we need to have a fresh look at BGS, and some of the younger folks might be stepping up and getting more involved with that as time goes forward. And then I think a lot
And
of
maybe
our
we
BGS
plan
is
some
gonna-
changes for the new year.
Yeah, exactly. And then I think colonization is going to inject some new life into it. So I'm just taking a break
right.
until colonization is clarified, and we'll be talking a little bit about that later tonight.
A well-earned break, to be
fair.
honest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. PowerPoint update. I imagine this was put here by Lark.
This was put here by me. We're basically getting back to business. I don't know what anyone's business is, though, because we've all been shooting at pineapples lately.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
killing people and pirating their things.
Yes,
Why? What
yes,
were you
yeah,
doing?
back to that. Yes, and agreements and bones and whatever. Yeah, you get it.
Oh, no agreements. Just killing people and pirating their
Yeah.
things.
Humanity has been saved, so humanity can kill humanity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get back to important stuff.
It is right and just.
So I thought it'd be fun to go over who has how many strongholds now that PowerPlay 2.0 has been out for a while. And the Empire is commandingly in the lead with Arissa and Aisling, both of whom have 55 and 47 strongholds respectively. And then Denton and Zemina are literally just happy to be there. Like no one cares.
Oh, really? Because Mahon comes out on top if you count systems, but I guess this is saying he's spread too thin.
Yeah,
Mahon's
I'm
spreads right
just
there.
talking about strongholds right now.
Yeah.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, a more accurate measurement of, well, how many people do these factions have and what can they sustain? You know what I mean? Just like the federal powers, annoying as they are, both Archer and Winters are only in the 20s for strongholds. Archer is 29, Winters is 21 last I looked. And as far as I know, they're fighting each other just as much as they're fighting anyone else, just because they're feds and they're dumb. Tell me I'm wrong.
No arguments here.
Change my mind.
Yeah.
Right?
Feds are dumb. Change my mind.
Be a beer.
Of the independent powers, Lee Young-ri is in first with 40 strongholds. One of
And
which
30 golf clubs.
Yeah, one of which I think soon is probably going to be Kama. For crying out loud, Loose Screws Network has been pegged at 93% influence in that system since PowerPlay 2.0 got there. It's been ridiculous. Mahon has 30 strongholds and has actually been holding at that very well. I only know that because I've been flying for Mahon.
Yes, you have.
Let me see. But it's among the independents, it's actually a much closer race among everybody because it's followed by Antal with 27, Kaine with 27, Grom with 25, and Delain at 20, which is still a pretty close last place, all things considered. Now, the last place people overall is Zemina Torval and Denton Patreus. Zemina Torval has 9 strongholds somehow, and Denton Patreus has 10.
Where did you say Grom was? I'm sorry.
Grom is at 25 last I looked. I'm pulling these numbers from INARA, so subject to change.
I gotta go work on Grom.
Maybe we just go beat up Torval.
Just eliminate her
take
back to
that
the
long,
home system.
Back to the Stone Age.
Take that Spider Queen back to her nest.
You gotta give a little flavor to your power play, people. People aren't gonna latch on to some old biddy who just likes mining and like prune juice. It's just not inspiring, you know?
And may or may
Mining and
not be
prune
ahead with mechanical spider
she's
legs.
just ahead with mechanical legs, right?
Yeah.
A bit.
Yeah. Now, if they took something out of the lore, just like they replaced Hudson with Archer, I mean, there was a whole storyline where they were kind of swapping her niece out for her. So,
Yeah,
I mean, if they went full
know.
waifu with the niece, then I think you have a whole bunch of people that would like be flipping from the blue-haired chick to the mining.
Could really
niece.
change the narrative there.
I'm
I know,
sorry.
right?
Hearing a literal MD use the word waifu is just an experience I never thought I would have.
I'm a man of letters. Thank you very much.
Unlike Delain followers, yes.
They're not letters anyone but he can read, but they are letters. Oh, God. Anyways, I think honestly, looking at it from that angle, they might be planning for Zemina to, pick off, as it were.
Yeah.
Because it's just extremely clear that her and Denton Patreus just have a few hardcore fans, and that's pretty much it.
That's about it.
They can be there so that if somebody wants to have a better shot at top 10, they just go where the population's low.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at me. I'm number 1 overall on the boards. And someone looks closely and is like, are you pledged to Zemina Torval?
Yeah. Dude, the whole Mahon thing and the limited number of strongholds of being spread thin, that's real. We in the Mahon Discord, without disclosing too many secrets, we kind of had to subdivide and be like, this is the whole top of the bubble. So we have to have like little sub regions to be able to focus in, because you can't just do everything.
Because we're
it's
not
very
Lee Yong
interesting that Mahon is spread very thin as far as like geographically in the bubble.
Damn, that feels familiar.
I also think it's interesting that he's not only spread thin, but it's not too thin. It's just like right on the edge of it, because so far he's been holding pretty well.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how the other Discords are doing, but what's been cool to see is that like you had that human level of organization outside of game with the Thargoid War. You're getting that with PowerPlay, and people are very proactive and planning and well, the one stick I kind of stirred up in the Mahon thing was who gets to decide, because this is like, if you're gonna go with the in-game lore, the Alliance is supposed to be this fairly even keel thing. Decisions take a long time. And I do like that there is kind of one guy that calls the shots, but there is a channel reserved where people can give input and stuff. So I thought that was kind of cool. It reflected the in-game structure. And that's all stuff that's organic and people have chosen to do out of game. So I like that stuff has arisen out of the system that they put in. Yep.
Boring.
And that's all I have. If you want to get involved with any of the powers, look up their Discords either on INARA or their respective subreddits, because one exists for all of them. I did confirm that. And get involved.
What do the Delain people do? Is it a Riddick thing? You keep what you kill. You get to be in charge as long as you kill the guy who says he's in charge.
I'm in the Delain Discord. It's nothing but rum and memes.
Unless you're pledged, Lark, you can only see like 5% of what's in the Delain Discord.
Well, the 5% I see is rum and memes.
No, but all the really good memes are on the other side of the pledge.
Yeah, there's different meme channels that they don't. There's one that just says memes that Lark can't see.
I hate that. That's probably going to be true after this podcast.
There's Pirate Cove -public, where all the Lark friendly memes go. There's a couple of other things. There's a recruits channel that tells you how to like prove that you're pledged, and then everything opens up, right? And then there's a big divider here, and we've got all these other sections. I'm not going to reveal too much, but yeah, let's see. How does this work? There's a few kind of topic chats, and then there's there's a section called the menu, which has a forum thread for each of the other PowerPlay leaders that we could possibly interact with, and then another one just for fortifying and consolidating things. So, and inside them there are a few targets that are labeled for flavor. It's pretty well organized. Like if you're like, I feel like doing this, you can grab from the menu and find something to do. It's sort of it reminds me of what you all were doing with the BGS standing orders and how it was sort of laid out, except it's, like I said, it's a forum thread, so there'll be sort of a post per system. Like in this system we're being resisted or undermined or whatever, so it needs this, and there's a few icons they use that means like needs fortification or go undermine, and then there'll be undermine over here, things like that. This one's close, trying to just sort of offer some options and stuff like that. I honestly haven't really paid attention, because whenever I'm doing it, I'm kind of just like, wherever I want to be. I hang around the edge of Archon space that's near loose screw space, because I'm kind of just bouncing around, and it's within a jump or two for most ships. And So I don't pay that much attention to what the overall goals are. I just sort of find things that are working for what I like to do and, do that.
Well, it's nice. I like it.
Well done.
How
And so
pirate
far,
code of
there
you.
isn't a channel. There isn't a channel about making fun of Audaxius. It's almost like they don't even notice you.
Don't even know I exist.
Yeah,
It's
weird.
almost like only you guys have to suffer the full brunt of me.
We have one in the Young Rui Discord.
Oh, like
yeah,
a mock
An
Jackie.
Audaxius.
wait, an off-brand Audaxius.
No,
That's
just a
only
mock
mildly
Audaxius
annoying.
channel.
Oh, the Audaxius free channel. I see.
Yeah.
I read it the same way he did. I thought you had like an someone filling the role of Audaxius over there in that Discord.
I've got an
Everybody has
imposter.
their Audaxius.
I've got an imposter. Some guy heard me on the podcast, and he was like, "Oh, I want a shtick. I'm just going to take that guy's."
Jesus.
Yeah. Anyway.
Shall we do a Thargoid War update?
Yes, we
Yes.
won.
All right. We did
War?
it. It's over.
We did it.
The Thargoids are gone.
The Titan convex has been made concave.
And what Frontier is going to do, and we had the final battle in Seoul, right? And it's dramatic, and it's the cradle of humanity. And now Frontier has to release a shirt to the Elite Dangerous store that says, "I fought an alien invasion for 2 years, and all I got was this crummy in-game asset hovering over Seoul."
A
Right.
lot of words for a t-shirt.
Because that's the only permanent in-game asset is Kokio flowing over Seoul.
Well, I think
actually
they'll all
think
be
that's
there,
really
right?
cool.
So
Especially
no, I do think it's cool.
like look at it from the perspective of like a
I-
new player. They
Yeah.
get the permit. It's like, oh, I'm gonna go visit Earth. They
Yeah.
get there and they drop in on the remains of a freaking Thargoid Titan without even really knowing what they're doing. And they're like, what the hell happened
Yeah.
here?
I
Why am I
had
melting?
I had very vain hopes for like them doing an in-new model for Earth, and there was a bunch of like visible scarring or damage from the thing. My dreams were a little overambitious though.
Yeah, I would have honestly, I was very torn about something like that. Like I thought it would have been cool if they did actually do that and like permanently damage Earth.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I'm like, it's Earth. That's literally a reason people play the game sometimes. So,
Yeah,
you know,
we got something.
It's still
Yeah.
Earth. It still would be
Yeah.
if it was scarred. I
right?
think they could have taken a little more of a chance. It didn't. The destruction of the others didn't seem to damage their planets, though. So
Right.
Yeah,
Whatever.
that's what
Their
I was
planets
thinking.
were all ammonia worlds. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it wasn't a
yeah.
Earth-like
What,
world.
you can't damage an ammonia world? Is that what you're saying?
It's just
Well, no,
that it's
they're-
already ammonia, so the Thargoid caustic wouldn't.
Okay.
I guess something.
Make
I
an
think that's
impact.
what. Yeah.
No, it'd land there and
gotcha.
make bleach.
Speaking of caustic, by the way, you can now go visit it.
Already.
I am
Yeah.
there right now, literally.
It
I'm-
cleared
that was
already.
quick.
Yeah.
I'm engineering my
And-
Cobra Mark V.
The one
Oh,
thing that
I
I
f- flew away.
noticed out of it after being there for an hour, and Dax, you can tell me if you're seeing them. They saw, unlike all the others, no interceptors at all. So it's like, and that makes
wait,
they're
sense.
gone,
alive or-
right? Do you see
alive or
sides?
dead? So
Alive.
I am looking at a dead interceptor right now.
Yeah,
about 50
dead,
meters
yes,
from-
but no,
Okay.
there used to be, you'd get scouts, you'd get the occasional interceptor, occasional hunter, and all the
Yeah.
others. I
Nothing.
haven't visited any of the others, but there's
Yeah.
nothing in this one. And like I said, that makes sense. There's no
Yep,
place for
they're-
them to come from.
They're gone.
They're
I need
gone.
to say something really important about the Thargoid presence being eliminated in Seoul, though. I need to personally thank the Thargoids for trying to free us from the feds.
The
Okay, but-
Thargoids are just really like petty partisans themselves.
Now, are Thargoids still out in like the Pleiades and all the other kind of stuff,
Yes.
like
Yes.
regular?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're probably still at the mega ships where they like there's one in Deciat that's
Yeah.
been under constant attack for like years.
Speaking of
'Cause-
constant attack,
Just-
what the frick are we going to do with HIP 22460?
Is that the only system now that still has an AGF?
That's
It's
the
gotta be.
Yeah, that's the only one that not only has an AGF, but would technically be considered Thargoid controlled still. That's near
Oh,
human
hold on,
space.
hold on. We're looking at the Gal map right now. HIP 22460.
And here's my question. Do you think we could retake it using the mechanics that are in the game now? If we just went there and started fighting?
I don't know. Thargoid War Mode. Is my thing not? Hold on. I'm not sure I've correctly switched it to Thargoid War Mode. No, I'm in Thargoid War Mode.
It's okay. While
It
you're
is-
looking that up, I realized I can get a size 4 vehicle hanger for my SRVs in my Cobra Mark 5.
Squirrel.
Woo! Yeah. No, so 22460 is unpopulated. That is its Thargoid War state. So
But
it has
does
no
show up as a state. That's interesting.
Well, every system is either human, it's controlled by humans or Thargoids in whichever state, or it's unpopulated. So this one is unpopulated. It's not got anything that we can do to it. That means.
Aw, that's a little
Right,
sad.
'cause-
I think it'd
'cause,
be
like,
fun to
if-
take back.
It would be like in recovery or control or alert or something,
So you're saying there's a chance.
Right.
I'm like, how far am I? See, I just started one of my weeklies for Power Play was to sell exploration data, and I thought, well, there's something I can do while I'm on the podcast. I'll just jump out in a big circle around the bubble and come back and have some Exploro data to sell, right? I should go there.
Right.
This place is kind of far out. It's kind of in a different direction than where I went, but I'm gonna turn tail and come over here. I'm gonna turn neutron boosting back on because I don't want to wait. I'm in the wrong map mode. That's why. I don't know why I'm totally. Or white dwarfs. I've actually gotten really good at white dwarfs. Since the Mandalay came out.
I have been interdicted into one though, and that sucks.
I used to avoid them like crazy, but since the Mandalay came out, I've been letting it direct me to them and actually doing. You know what it is? I've been doing fine since I turned the orbit lines off. Which doesn't make any sense, but when on the Mandalay update broke orbit lines in VR, they only show up in one eye, and it gives you a headache. So you can't you got to turn them off. So I've just been flying with them off, and I thought, oh shoot, like this white dwarf's really gonna throw me, because you used to just you at least get a second where it gives you that thing before the orbit line disappears. That was always the trick, right? That made white dwarfs difficult. Well, now I never see them. And I think never seeing them makes me treat them with the caution they deserve or something, because I've not hit an exclusion zone since. I've just been doing it correctly. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to fly over to 22460 and see if it has a hazardous environment still. So confirm though, Soul does not anymore, right?
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
It does not.
Great. Well, I have a Guardian frameshift drive booster in this ship, so it'll melt if there's anything wrong going on there.
Right.
Speaking of Guardian frameshift booster, I have been engineering my Cobra Mark 5 this whole time and set up for just like standard either BGS or Power Play or whatever, just mission running. I have a jump range of 44 light years with the heavy armor on and a fast charge size 3 shield.
Yeah, let's see. I have mine goes 52.
Dang.
With a operations limpet, standard stuff. I have cargo. I have all the things you'd want, and a I'm using lightweight. I don't like heavy armor.
I did see someone posted on Reddit. They put the pre-engineered frameshift drives that came out from winning the war on a Mandalay and really lightweighted everything and got it up to like 99 point something light year range.
Oh, really? I thought 93 was going to be the new top or something.
I'll
Obviously,
have to
it's
see if I
more.
can find it to double check. I think it was
I
99
don't know.
though.
Well, I mean, I think if you strip it down to absolute uselessness, there's like
nothing but fuel tanks.
Yeah.
Nothing but fuel. Oops, all fuel tanks.
So we had that war for, was it 2 years? Year and a half?
It was 2 years. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about that as a cycle of in-game content?
That was a lot of freaking fun, and I'm also glad it's over at the same time, but I'm also glad it happened.
Yeah.
I was thinking, you know how this year, this is a fine episode to start talking about this, right?
Yeah.
This is probably the last one we'll do,
Mhm.
because we'll probably take a break. I hadn't even talked to
No
or thought
Boxing
about
Day
that until
special?
this moment.
Hey, y'all want to take a break next week? I'm just
Yeah, we might do that.
Take a break right now. Doo-dunk.
You know, it was this was the year though where we started off in the shitter, and like they were firing everyone, and
Yes.
then I was, like still complaining about Odyssey and all the other stuff, and now this kind of failure and stuff, and then 4 ships, redone engineering, redone power play, the announcement of colonization. There's more. There's things I'm forgetting about. I mean, the Thargoid War was like halfway done. I was pretty done with it, frankly, because I honestly, my participation hasn't been that great this year, but because it just took so long, and there was 8 of those stupid things, and it was really cool. But what a turnaround! How do I feel at the end of it? I am
feel like
glad
they're
it's
on
done.
the right track.
Yeah.
There's been missteps along the way, but they're honestly trying, and I see that and recognize it.
A year ago, if someone would have given some really naive, optimistic list of what they wanted or what they were going to see in the game, and they would have put what actually happened, I would have laughed them out the door.
Same.
Honestly.
Oh, yeah.
And that's not me not having faith in Frontier. Like, again, this is my forever game. I don't really care about any other video game companies at all. Frontiers, they've got me hooked for good, but I've never really cared about like the company. I like the product, but I've been in the trenches with Elite long enough that I do care about how they're doing. I would have never thought they would have gotten to this spot, and I don't care about their other games. I know that Elite's not their big money maker. I know that what I call Realms of Financial Ruin was a massive disaster as a release, and then when that came out, I was like, dude, they're like they could be
no one
real
wanted
hot
that
water.
game. It's so sad.
It just, and that's maybe it's kind of luck of the draw, but the fact that they got to a spot where it was about dollars and cents, and they decided Elite was going to be one of those strings they were going to pull. And to get where we got, I'm just like, hallelujah. Thank you for their sake. I've never felt a sense of closeness to a video game like I do Elite. And for it to be here now after this whole like kind of year-long, really kind of 2-year process, I'm ecstatic. So it's almost kind of like a symbolic thing. Like the Thargoid War has come to a close. Wow, the game is in such a good spot to springboard into a bunch of new stuff. So I feel really good about the war being over, because I think that's kind of long enough as far as the cycle of in-game content. But it puts it kind of in the meta perspective. It's the game and the company in a really good spot to springboard into other stuff. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, and I think the big thing about the Thargoid War, honestly, for me, in a way, is that they were able to show that they could kind of learn from missteps, learn from mistakes, make adjustments, and improve upon things. Because, I mean, while there was a lot of different elements to the Thargoid War that people could critique, basically, we come out and it's like, okay, we're completely outgunned, and how does this mechanic work? How do you defeat these titans? And then slowly
it was bad
introducing
for a while too.
I know, and then slowly introducing little elements here and little elements there. And I mean, some of them were introduced a little bit ham-handedly, and some of the unlocks were a little bit onerous. And then they kind of had to say, okay, well, we're going to kind of, give some people some unlocks. And then, how do you deal with the hunters? How do you deal with the anti-guardian field, which is kind of game breaking for, the grizzled AX pilots who built specialized ships specifically focused for interceptors. And I'm not going to rehash all that. But I mean, I think they kind of over time were kind of adjusting mechanics here, adjusting mechanics there. And the community itself really organized and really built up, working on different facets of the war. And the war was a thing that if you didn't want to participate in it, you really didn't have to. The bubble didn't completely burn out. Things were kind of contained. But then, as time kind of dragged on, it kind of gained this momentum, and, people were able to participate. Now, yeah, sure, the, killing 8 titans kind of got a little bit tedious after a bit of time, but But no, but it was still, and then the surprise
bit.
attacks and some things like that. It really showed that FDev really put a lot of effort, and also in a weird way could admit, okay, we do need to make a fix here and a fix there, and that really bodes well for the future. Because if PowerPlay needs a course correction, they will. I mean, when they introduced, and we'll talk about colonization, when they talked on frame shift unwrapped or whatever the hell they call it nowadays today, they were talking about
it was unwrapped today.
I think
Unwrapped
it's
today.
uncorked. I think it's uncorked.
I don't know what
Uncorked
it is.
would be the one on January 2nd.
Right.
Yeah. No, but they actually said that, that what they're introducing is going to be a beta, and that the final product is not going to be the same as the starting product. So, the fact that they're kind of I think they're doing a little bit better that way. And I also think, as far as the elite content, getting away from DLC as it's previously been thought of, where it's like, okay, you buy a downloadable content package, you buy a set of maps, you buy this, you buy that. That I think they learned the mistake of Odyssey, which was a lot of people didn't download Odyssey. And when a lot of people didn't download Odyssey, you had this kind of broken universe where you have your Xbox people, you have your PlayStation people, you have your PC people, you have your people who are in legacy mode, you have your people in live mode. And if with each update, the Thargoid War or what have you, if people were like, well, I'm going to download that versus not, you'd have such a splintered, engine, and it's already spaghetti code, that it would be just completely breakable. So I think the introduction of the ships and, monetizing the store a little bit, play to win, pay to win, or whatever you want to call it.
Pay to swim.
Pay to swim.
Yeah. That's the
was really the smart way to monetize it, because you got folks like us who are like, yeah, I'll buy a ship. Oh, new ship. I'll buy a new ship. Just, as a thank you for all the content they're giving us.
Yeah.
I've bought.
Exactly. I came in, I swept in with ARCs for the first time, since before Odyssey.
Cha-ching, cha-ching. Yeah.
After how after how the year started out, it was like unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, it's
but
like
here I am just throwing it.
Yeah. And if you bought 4 ships, like 16,000 ARCs each, we're talking 64,000 ARCs. I mean, what's that come out to in, stock options, but that's what, but I mean, but it's like, but I'm telling you, a bunch of us paid as much,
it's
if
more
not
stock than it would have been, or less, whatever that works.
But I think many of the pilots bought more ARCs this year than we paid for Odyssey. When we bought
Odyssey. Was Odyssey $40?
I don't remember.
Oh my God, I don't even remember.
I paid like 30, I thought.
Yeah. I'd have paid more if they would have given us access to the better branch of it that they had, and we didn't.
The branch of
and I'm never letting them live that down. I will continually bring that up.
It's great.
Yep.
Have you guys noticed the rewards for the CG? I sort of keep forgetting that there was a CG for killing this Titan, unlike the other ship. So I mean, I didn't even do that much in the CG, and I still because most people popped in and did like 2 million square and left, right? So there's a huge population of top 75% basically. So I did very little, and I still got top 75%, which is 400 million credits.
Yeah.
Usually these CG rewards are absolutely
as well. Good.
Absolutely inconsequential compared to the actual money you make doing the thing. Now it's quite the opposite.
I think they made it as the entire Thargoid War was a CG, and then they lumped all the reward at the end. It's like Return of the King. Return of the King won like 67 Oscars. And it wasn't that movie was that good. It was kind of like, oh, this whole trilogy is groundbreaking and history making. Let's just lay it all on at the end.
How do I pick up that money so I can dump it in my carrier?
That's at the ship, right?
But the CG, but the rewards, this CG was incredibly generous in that all you had to do was one shot at the pineapple, and you've got 6 frameshift drives, 6 V1 frameshift drives
Yeah.
just for
Double
showing up
engineered.
and getting one shot off. And
Yeah,
then you got your 400 million, or
Mhm.
for some people
Or
it was
more.
1 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you broke a sweat, plus the decal, plus the ship kit and skin.
They're giving everyone a material foundation for all the new ships that are going to come out, because the weird thing is there's going to be a day where like the Type 6 is obsolete and forgotten. I don't see them stopping this process of continually releasing ships that are all with the new frame shift system, that like the aesthetics are all improved. I think they're giving everyone in game now the springboard they need as they release things, to have a good like foundation. I love it. I don't know. I love power creep.
So I'm curious, Trex, what does your contribution say in bonds for the CG?
Oh, hold on. I'm in which space?
Sorry.
Like you want like the
Yeah, like what it
the
says.
CG bonds, because
Yeah,
it's
what the CG
translates.
bonds, air quotes.
Yeah, I'll
'Cause
tell
it
you,
said
it's
I
not
did
much.
8,012, and I think that's actually not bad at all, considering my main AX ship is a Diamondback Scout.
I mean, that's a tiny fraction of the damage you did, but
I'm gonna make you a
Right.
shirt that says that, Lark.
Yeah, I did 41,000 as my contribution.
Nice.
okay, hold on. I'm tunneling on my way to Jackson's Lighthouse here.
Oh, you'll come out of it. Give it a sec.
Yeah, I know. It hasn't kicked. The tunnels have gotten a little less.
You're not going to see the community goals now anymore, right? They've been paid out.
Oops.
Well, you got to go to the rescue ship to pick
Yeah.
up your reward.
Well, yeah. You haven't done that yet? Okay.
No, I haven't.
I haven't.
Oh.
I'm about to go do that. I'm waiting for a module.
So my
Okay.
transaction panel shows I have 32,118 as
Nice.
my contribution.
Nice.
I did a little bit. Let me try. I can try this again. So I'm trying to get Oblivious into
So I
crew.
got the
Audaxius
top
came into crew.
25%, and it was over $1 billion in the payout.
Woof.
Yeah. I'm just going to neutron boost
crap.
my Mark V here. Was I supposed to be doing something? So
The whole invasion in Seoul
wow.
was like lucrative.
My contribution was 27,000, and I got 1.5 billion.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm going to the rescue ship right now to pick that up so I can park it in my fleet carrier.
Cool.
All right, I'm doing a 202 light year jump in my Cobra Mark V. That's pretty good.
Not bad.
Yeah.
It kicked both of you guys out. They're trying to multi-crew in to look at 22,460. Sorry, I'm about to do this big jump here. It must have, when I was tunneling, it kicked everybody out.
That'll make multi-crew mad if you're jumping while they're coming in.
Well, I had Audaxius in here before. Anyway, let's.
Yeah.
Any more thoughts on this war? I think
I'm good.
I'm glad
proud
it's done. It was good. I'm glad it happened, but I'm glad it's
Is
done.
it done? Is it done? What did that?
They posted a
Oh,
YouTube
yo,
video
welcome.
saying it was done. It
Good
feels
old
pretty
done.
conclusive to me.
Media being like, "That's it, boys."
What do we take from that logo that came out from all of the patchwork of soundscapes out there?
So all of the dead Thargoid
I don't
Titans
know.
and now Conquistador itself is also putting out that signal that you have to patch it together, and it looks like a spiral with 8 arms with a pyramid of humans from bottom to top that look like male and female.
Do they? I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. I think it's a little unclear. It's, in my opinion, I'm hopeful that it's a change that will mean like the next interaction we have with them is communication based. We have done nothing but shoot at each other. So that would be a cool next step, and this could be attached to that. So that's just a thought.
I thought it was interesting in the 10-year anniversary video, they're interviewing David Braben. So obviously, like, his time's at a premium. Also, what he says is very important. And he mentioned the pro and anti-Xeno dynamic. And I thought that was very interesting to be
I caught on to
included.
that too.
I thought it was very
Yeah,
interesting.
he's-
They only have 10
he's done that
minutes for this
before.
video. Yeah, and he mentioned it. So I'm like, because currently that's nothing.
Well, right. That's to be honest, I've seen him talk about that, and other people that represent Frontier have made comments that affect like
Yeah.
that there is more than one option, and or that like, oh, but the players just shot at them like as if there was something else we could have done. And to be honest with you all and them, that's always really annoyed me because there hasn't been another option.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything else that we could do in the game because there wasn't anything built into the game that we could do besides shoot them or steal their tissue.
There was something built into the game for Pro Xeno, and it's decals that you can stick on your ship.
Great.
But then all you get to do is shoot them with that ship.
Yeah, there's
Targets.
a decal, right, where they're like shaking their hand or whatever.
Yes. Why are they there?
And when Frontier had an opportunity to do something narratively with pro Thargoid people, they all piled into a megaship and stood in the path of Tyrannus and got fucking bulldozed into dust.
That was so funny.
Okay, so it seems to me that it's very clear what Frontier has been saying to us about we actually only have one button as far as interacting with the Thargoids because of how the game was written. So it bugs me a little bit when they say things like that. But by all means, please give us something else to do in the game, and I'll happily take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So one thing I actually loved about the 10-year video was when they were talking about when the Guardian ruins were first getting discovered and they teased them, and that they had like a whole story thing planned to lead us out to the right place. And us freakers looked at the night sky and were like, oh, I recognize that star. I recognize that star. This is probably in this area. And they sent a bunch of people over there and found them.
Yep.
They had it in days.
Triangulated it, and then they brute forced it, and they found it, ignoring all the other in-game content.
Yep.
Taught them a lesson.
I love that about this community. It's like, yeah, we're going to find that piece of crap, but we're also going to complain about it when we get there.
Yeah. They can't out-nerd a bunch of nerds.
Right.
We're gonna figure that shit out.
Oh, shoot. It's good stuff. For those who haven't seen the 10-year video that's out there on YouTube, go see it.
It is very good.
Very good.
Yeah, it was fun.
I learned about in one of the most bizarre out-of-game elite moments of my life so far. I learned about its existence as I'm scrolling Instagram in real life on my phone, and I see Commander Burr. And I have this moment.
Sick as a dog.
I have this moment. I'm like, huh? What's he doing there? Lo and behold, it was Frontier's Instagram profile.
And shout out to Burr for referencing a time when he had hair.
Yes, apparently that did happen. I said Pixar didn't happen, but it is what it is. Yeah. So that was a cool moment. Yeah, and I think they've got themselves in a genre. I think like Elite's what it is because Braben made the game when he was in college, and it was this subgenre of video games. But we know that the player base can be incredibly passionate, and we're 10 years in now. If you look at another game of like law of longevity and popularity, EVE Online. EVE Online is 20 years old.
Oh my gosh, I feel so old.
They have consistently developed and updated for 2 decades. And I would assume their player numbers are as strong as ever, and they've figured out how to monetize it. And I'm like, you could do that with Elite. We keep making jokes about Elite 2, but they don't have to make it look any better. Like the mechanics we've all fallen in love with. They're adding to our capacity to influence the galaxy, which if they ever shut down the Elite servers, we still will have discovered less than 1% of the data that they put into the game. So I'd be in the camp. I'm like, I don't need updated graphics. I think it looks fine. And you can just keep this train running because those of us that are on board, we are on board.
Yes.
Yeah. So there you hear me, Frontier? You hear me? You can't ban me from everything. I'm going to be here forever.
Just give him some Twitch drops, please.
Yeah.
FDev.
Yeah.
Please.
But And fix the multi-crew coding, because I've been dropped from track.
Yeah, every time I jump to
now.
a new star, I drop both of these guys.
Just
it says
sit
waiting.
in one spot and let us get in, okay?
Well, that's what I did. I waited till you were both
you
there, and then I
wouldn't
took
have
off again, and it
you go to
dropped
pick
you.
up your friend at his house in your car, and you speed by. You're like, hop in, jerk.
Guys, I'm at 0 throttle.
Cobra
Just
Mark
sitting here.
5 pulls up, window rolls down.
Another invite, please.
It still says waiting on my screen. I can't.
Oh my god,
There's
I
a
can
bear
kick you from
driving the
crew.
ship.
this game sucks. Okay,
No time to explain. Get in the ship.
no time to explain. Get in.
Hold on, I have to kick you guys from multi-crew and report for abuse.
There you go.
No, apparently it gives me more options. I could just kick without
You can
reporting
just
for abuse.
block.
I love that opening where it's telling me if I commit a crime, I'm going to get kicked off. And I've been kicked off twice and hadn't committed anything yet. So
That's because I told them we were doing Xeno research, which is not one of the multi-crew modes in which you're allowed to commit crimes. Usually, I thought this was fitting, right, to choose Xeno research. Usually, I choose piracy because if you choose piracy, you're allowed to do anything, and they're just not going to kick your friends out. But
Told
anyway.
me we were doing crimes. Well, we're just testing out the cockpit of the Cobra Mark Fucks, as I affectionately call it.
I
Because
love
this ship
it
fucks.
so dang much.
This ship fucks. It's so beautiful. I'm sitting in the back of the two seats, and like the canopy stretches behind my head. I have.
All right, we're jumping into
full
22460 right now. Let's
Okay.
see if it kicks him.
disconnect.
Please
I
back
have
in the
a
ship.
full, like 180-degree view of the sky. It's great.
See, what you don't know is the anti-guardian field actually stabilizes the multiplayer connection.
Oh,
We'll
there
see
you go.
in a second.
If it actually works, I am
3, 2,
going
1.
to die laughing.
Yeah.
I guess since we're jumping in here, we'll talk about this for a second before we get into the. There's a bunch of new info that they posted during their pre-recorded stream.
I can go over it while
hazardous
you guys
environment.
figure multi-crew out if you'd like.
Is it?
Hold on, hazardous environment.
Uh-oh.
Where's my? Yep, my frame
Wow.
shift drive booster is dying.
Uh,
It's dropping. It's at 85% already. That's all right. The ship still flies. All right, what's in this system? All right, you guys. So let's talk about colonization.
Yes.
I wrote down a bunch of things. It looked like somebody else had added some stuff to it.
I added some
One
stuff.
of those answers, I think they did not realize the question they were being asked because they answered it in a really weird way that makes no sense. But anyway, go on. Take it away.
So they answered a bunch of questions. I actually didn't watch the thing because it was pre-recorded and like just whatever. I could not be arsed. So I don't know the questions coming from these answers, but I can infer from the answers. So just keep that in mind.
You could just let somebody else read it if you want.
Or someone else can read it.
Who
yeah.
else watched it? I did watch it, but yeah. Okay. Yeah. Bloom, take it away.
All right. So from Frontier Unwrapped, there was some question and answers. Obviously, they were going to ask how much is this going to cost, and basically the FDev said that the cash outlay is going to be a meaningful chunk of change, but it's not each system is not going to cost as much as a fleet carrier. So if I were to predict, I would say somewhere between 500 million and $1 billion per system if I was a betting man. Ultimately, the real cost is construction cargo because you're going to still have to buy stuff and you're going to have to haul it to your new system. Now, claims can't be locked. This was another question is, so let's say you want to have a system, okay? So you can put a bid out for a system and then you have to get to the nav beacon to stake your claim. And if you don't within 24 hours, it goes back into something for people to be able to do. And then you can do a second attempt at it if no one goes for it. But after that, you're locked out for a period of time because you can't just be like putting reservations on systems and then letting them drop.
Yeah, I think they were saying it's not because the initial beacon is like within a few days you have to go and claim it, but then after that you have to complete. You have 1 week or how many? Wait. 4 weeks. You have 4 weeks to complete the first station. I think that's what they were talking about is if you don't manage to complete that in 4 weeks, then it goes back up for bid.
Yeah.
But if you do this twice, if you fail twice, basically you get paused. before you're allowed to put a claim out again, which essentially means like, so somebody could be trying to block another, all other players from colonizing a particular system, claiming it for their own. They're only going to be able to get away with that for 8 weeks at maximum if they're just trying to stand in the way, which I think sounded like a good rule.
Yes, no, it's definitely a good rule. Like I said, it was a little bit vague. I mean, I was thinking about the nav beacon, but I mean, it makes a lot of sense. The 4-week getting your mats and getting everything you need there. Because also, if you can't get your act together through 2 cycles of this, you shouldn't be colonizing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then you can each architect can only have 1 claim at a time, and so I could go to a springboard, a system, and I could say, okay, I'm going to colonize system X, and then Daxi could do system Y, and we could be doing it from the same system, but each one of us can only do 1 claim at a time each. So you may see organized groups do scatter shots from a single system, which will be very interesting. As certain factions on the edges of the bubble may really try to move out and really expand their fiefdoms. There's no system upkeep, which is good. So once you've actually gotten your first station in place, and once you've done the initial outlay in the initial 4 weeks, you're not going to be continuously paying into maintaining the system, which is nice.
I'm sorry, we're not laughing at you. We were in a debris field in 22.460 and a Cyclops dropped in, and I was like about to leave this debris field. A Cyclops showed up. Thargoids are still here, and then it did a shutdown field on me. So anyway, it's fine. We're fine here.
We're all trying to not
murder you?
Oh no, it opened up with a shutdown field. It's in combat mode, but I'm flying away. I'm not outfitted to prevent his shutdown field or fight him, so
that's hysterical.
We'll have to leave. But it is funny. He's chasing me, but I've got a 14 kilometer lead because he's a chump, and I have a Cobra Mark V.
Dax is getting car sick.
Over.
Yeah, they're still here. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
Yes,
the Goids will rise again.
So you will be gaining immortality with each colonization, as the architect will be named for each system, and that is permanent.
Nice.
Now, the thing that really was the one nagging, gnawing question that I had was that the controlling faction is based on the source. I thought it was the source, not the source system that one colonizes from, but from the station where you contract to colonize. So let's say you're in a star system and your faction controls one of the space stations and your friend's faction controls a different space station. So if you go to the colonization guy at the station that you control within the system, you can expand, you can colonize in the name of your player minor faction. And that's how I interpreted what they had said. Was that because they said station and not system?
Yeah, exactly. They kind of misspoke a little bit, but yeah, they're talking about the controlling faction of the source system is the one that moves into the newly colonized system.
So it's not from the station, because because
all factions are in all stations, so that's sort of a meaningless.
But you can control the system, but you don't control every station in the system. So like if you have a system with multiple stations, there's the Loose Screws network can control one station, and then Burr Pit can control another station. And so my understanding, because they said station, was that it's just like with Cardo.
Okay. Like, so is there a contact on every station then, and you pick a station that you control? Okay. Yeah, I could have read. I see. I think you're right. I probably have it wrong.
Yeah, because that was like the one question I had, and so I kind of replayed it a couple of times to make sure I heard it correctly. But they said station. Gotcha. Now they could be wrong. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time.
I was totally reading it as a misspeak because they misspeak. Whatever, it's what they do. It's not a big deal. But it was very easy for me to make that assumption. But I think you're likely right. It doesn't have to be true in this case.
Yeah. So I mean, I think they're probably going to get asked that question 3 more times, and then eventually, when all this comes out, we're going to find out.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, but
I
that's
like
like
the FAFO quality that Frontiers updates come with. I'm just saying.
yeah. You got to play to figure it out. For our friends, the Brotherhood of Terra Mater, you cannot permanent lock the system. So when you colonize the system, you can't permit lock it. So.
Wouldn't that be a bitch?
Who would issue a permit?
Yeah.
And everyone creates a shell around the bubble of permit lock systems, and we all get trapped forever.
No one gets in, no one gets out.
You're locked in here with me.
Oh, well, I can get you in there for a minor fee with my fleet carrier.
Oh, that's funny. Good.
Yeah. They also
Yeah.
said you must start from the bubble. So we can't be
Yeah.
springboarding from mini bubbles.
Right.
So
Oh,
you
so
can't,
I guess
because-
Colonia can't do its whole own thing?
I guess not. And
You
maybe
know,
and
so they did say exactly those words. We want
Yeah.
it to start from the bubble because, which I guess is just, you know, they have to have said that because it's distinct from you have to start from a populated system, which was my previous assumption.
yeah,
Yeah.
because we'd be starting out at Audaxius Folly. Who are we
For
kidding?
sure.
But
The
you wouldn't be able to bring
consortium lies
LSN from
again.
there because LSN doesn't exist there.
Yeah.
But I'm I'm fine assuming control of the
You're like, I'm done with
of the
LSN.
conclave. Or what do they call it? The conclave? or-
The consortium.
The
Yeah, yeah.
consortium.
We are
Yeah, I
all
would-
consortium now.
The least
Right.
consequential codex entry of all time. Oh,
Wow.
I think they
Oh,
put
man.
that in there specifically to troll you, Daxie.
You know, I'd have it coming, wouldn't I?
Yeah, I'm just
Okay.
saying.
Frontier. Well, yep. Oh, my war with Frontier is not yet over.
But my hope is once they get the beta done and they get the kinks out, maybe they will allow expansion in, Witch Head and Pleiades. I love the Pleiades
As long
and
as they give us
Colonia.
access to the, yeah. As
Yeah,
long as
I
they give
think
us access to the meta
Colonia
version.
Should clearly.
I think
be an
Colonia should be able to
exception.
expand.
Yeah, because that's literally a little mini bubble out there. It's its own thing, in my
Talk about
opinion.
throwing a dog. Yeah,
yeah.
talk about throwing a dog a bone. There are Colonia only commanders that have been looking at the Thargoid War for a year and a half, just like, what about us guys? What do we get to do?
Their neck beards need to get longer before
Yeah.
they'll get any attention.
Oh goodness.
I would love for them to get their own little taste of the
I would
Thargoid
love it.
War. Yeah,
Dude,
just
I've been to
have them
Colonia.
all of a sudden
Yeah,
show up.
yeah. I've been to
Send
Colonia
a Titan
twice.
to Colonia.
The weird thing is, I've been to Colonia twice. That is the most visually engaging, incredible part of the galaxy. With that
That's
kind of
wild.
appreciation of Starfield, this like cool ambient blue purple light that's almost everywhere. I've only seen it twice, but if you could get out to Colonia and they could start to expand that, I would have both fingers crossed because I'd make a third trip out there.
It'll take a long ass time. The way they're
Oh
describing it.
no! You do the sleeper service in the fleet carrier. God bless these wonderful people who organize these things.
And how?
I got on a fleet carrier, I sat my butt down in the seat, and 3 days later, I came back and I was in Colonia. It is awesome.
I've taken the
Uh-oh,
Colonia bus
swarms
a couple of
deployed.
times.
Yep.
Once they
God-
even had a couple day stop out by an interesting nebula told you to go explore it because it's cool.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. Yeah. God bless the elite community. We know how to pull together and help each other.
Ooh,
Those are
that
bullets.
Medusa's shooting at me. Yeah.
That's a Medusa.
I tried to. I went to the 22460 anomaly and I was trying to fly into it, which apparently I can't do because I'm going like 650 meters a second directly at it and getting no closer.
Yeah.
And then a Medusa came in and started shooting at me. So we're gonna have to get out of here.
Those Dusas were put there specifically for people like you.
Oh, another one's coming in. It didn't do a shutdown field this
been-
time,
I don't
but
know
it
how
did
you
start
guys,
shooting at
but
me.
I feel like a kid strapped into Dad's minivan right now.
Yeah.
I keep
Dad's up there like,
digging,
we're fine.
I keep digging stale goldfish from under the seat here.
Yeah. This thing is new, Tracks.
This
Jeez.
is a brand new ship. What are you talking about?
Well,
Your daughter's already
we're
been
not
in
the
it,
ones
man.
eating the goldfish, man. You throw them over your shoulder like a freaking
Oh
slob.
my god. Okay, where are we?
Where are we? Oh, we're still talking about the
we're still talking about the thing.
Colonization.
We're still talking about it. Yeah, just a couple more notes. So the system maps will have an added architect view. So, the system map will be kind of part of the tool, one of the tools you'll be able to use to determine where you're going to be placing assets ultimately.
Nice.
So that's pretty cool. And,
Which how cool. That's one of the developer UIs that up to this point they've only had access to. I think that's super cool.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I really, really like how you can put the planetary bases wherever you freaking want.
Where you want. You can find a cool mountain and put it at the base of it or at the top of it or whatever.
Right?
Yeah.
Can an architect relinquish his claim?
No,
No.
no. All you can do is give your password to some friend of yours. So, hey, this is my account. Use my account if you want to architect. But so each system is controlled by that architect, and then colonization is not a PvP feature, so no one can fuck it up when you're once you started colonizing a system. People can't come in and just try to screw everything up for you. Unless you're doing it in open, and then your T9 hauling bio waste or whatever can get shot out of the sky by someone with a fertilance. But other than that, they really can't mess you up.
I don't know. I've watched commanders in loose screws. I'm shouting you out, Bork. Take out a freaking Python Mark II that was set up to go against humans with their AX ship because they were in the same instance and pissing everyone off.
Dude, I popped a ganker with my plasma chargers in my AX ship.
Nice.
That was
Very
a
nice.
proud moment. Those guns can hit. Yeah.
Yeah, the plasmas are pretty good
They are good
for that.
Yeah.
I mean, are they the best axe weapon for PvP?
No,
The trick
no.
is that plasma chargers do absolute damage.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of the Guardian guns do thermal damage.
Okay.
So it is easy for someone who wanted to interfere with an anti-Xeno operation in a PvP sense to just maximize the thermal resistance on their ship and be functionally invincible.
right.
But if you bring plasma chargers, they are not functionally invincible. In fact, they're probably very weak because they've spent all of their engineering points on thermal resistance, and they probably have very weak raw numbers. And so, yes, you can smush them, which is nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very
And
nice.
gankers aren't what they used to be anyway, so they're not much of a threat.
Not at all. All right. So that wraps up colonization. So I think that's going to be quite a fun feature.
Yeah. Their own little
Yeah, it sounds
community
good.
goal on a weekly basis.
I'm interested to see, I haven't done any hauling in this game in years at this point. Because, I just I do what draws me in, makes me want to sit in the chair. And it'll be interesting to see if I want to do, if I'm like, oh, let's build this station. You know what I mean? Like it's a whole new thing. It does seem
you'll haul.
you'll
haul.
You can't
For
even
sure.
guarantee it. I didn't even do any defending of soul from these
Getcha.
Xenos, and that was like my thing.
Hey, and you know who else is going to haul? Me. You know why? Because my Type 8 is no longer locked in 140-hour transfer time.
Yeah.
Oh, really? It's all done. Did it clear the moment we
Literally
killed the
just-
thing?
Oh, no. It just arrived about 10 minutes ago right now. Real time.
Ah! Did you ever get an answer on your ticket?
And Frontier ignored me.
No,
I bet you my support ticket got physically printed and then shredded.
No, they didn't ignore you. Go look in this.
They
When
knew
you
it was
get to
me.
your captain's seat, you're going to see there's a little note in there that says, Keith says hi. Here's your
Oh,
ship.
wow. Well,
A little mint on the
thanks,
pillow.
Keith. I'm 300 million credits out. You got one of those in your pocket besides a little hello note? Just a word of advice to the player base. If you're ever going to transfer your ship and you see an egregious transfer time and cost, it is not a bug. It will take your Type 8 9 days real time to go 30 light years like mine did. And I paid 330 million credits
Tell the rest of the story.
because I thought it was a bug.
No, you were transferring it into.
I was transferring it into a system that was 30 light years from another system.
And
Now,
wasn't it
whether or
also
not
Bargoid
that
controlled?
system
And what was
happened
the
to
state?
be under
Ah.
active invasion state,
Oh,
I would
okay.
think is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Because it's 30 light years.
Yeah.
It sounds
And-
like it probably arrived at the destination system the very moment that Operation Ida finished
Finished up.
bringing that station back
Yeah,
into operation.
Convenient. So save yourself the credits and just don't click the button. Thank you.
And
End of
thanks,
public
Operation.
service announcement.
When's the next opportunity you'll have to
This fucking
test
game.
that?
I'm not ever transferring a ship again. They're never getting an ounce of my money.
All right, community
Fly
corner.
manually. Yes.
Lark
So
Shadow, I get
have
the
a
impression you put something in here.
I did. I have a little announcement. I am officially announcing that I am organizing Distant Screws 3. I have a list of waypoints that I have chosen because that looks like cool places to go. There's a few branch off points where you can either go back to the bubble or all the way out to Colonia, or keep going all the way out to the edge of one of the galactic arms, which is one of the ultimate end goals, just out there in the east of the galaxy. And so it's going to be fun. We've had a lot of questions. There's a lot of people that know a lot more about exploring than me that have been chiming in. So there is a thread created on the Discord. It is under exploration. Get in there. I will be putting up a poll later tonight that I will run for a few days of what dates might work best for people for a jump out date. And then it's just exploring and having fun. That's all there is to it.
Nice.
Get on board.
I think I'm gonna
Buckyball
have a
Race
blast.
8X2 Marks the Dash is still running and it's been extended, probably because of recent events. So
Correct.
still-
It actually ends tonight. It might already be over
Oh.
by the
Yeah.
time we're recording, and it will definitely be
you're right.
over by the time you hear this.
I did not read far enough ahead in the notes. Just pretend I said nothing. Good, well competed to all the Buckyballers who took part in this now concluded Buckyball race.
It's okay. We'll get it in post.
Yeah, I'm not going to edit anything. It's not happening.
Shit.
Yeah. Now, do we have a graphic artist that could do a Distant Screws 3 logo for the?
we
Oh,
might have
shit.
somebody.
We have a
I'm
few
sure.
graphic artists. Yes.
Yeah,
who
we
would
got
like to
enough
make
people with a
something.
Mid-Journey account. We could get it done in about 10
Hit
seconds.
me up.
Let's get some samples and then we'll pick one, or have Lark
Yeah.
pick one.
Let's do this.
Mhm.
It's gonna
Love
be
it.
fun. I plan on
Because
bringing
we got all that
Mark
sweet,
5 out there to the black.
Because we got all that sweet Patreon money. We could probably provide a reward for the one we pick.
That is a great idea. We should do some screenshot contests for loot like that. And I also think I want to have something like game mechanical, like how many of what you can find first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we'll work out those
Treasure hunts
details.
along the way.
Yeah, but we'll work out those details. But that's a really good idea. I like that a lot.
Okay, right on.
But I definitely want to get a Distant Screws 3 mug or something, you know?
Oh yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we should we'll get yeah, that's great, guys. Get some design ideas. We'll pick one to be the one and refine it and slap it on some stuff. And yeah, we can I'm sure run some competitions of some kind, or drawings, or however you want to handle it, some of both, and toss some things out.
Heck, some people are talking about bringing their fleet carriers, so maybe we can have some little PvP bullcrap out there like we did on the last Distance Cruise.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Fly strap or get clapped, everyone.
That is right and just.
Damn right. Is there anything else that anyone would like me to stick into this episode?
I got none.
Don't think so.
Run out of gas.
My Mark V jumps a lot less now that the Guardian drive booster has been melted by HIP 22460. I think I might pause and set this thing to repair. Oh, it won't repair? Oh no,
Yeah,
because
you
it's
killed
at
it.
0. Wait, if I reboot my ship, it'll be 1%, right?
I think so.
In theory, yes. What size Guardian frameshift booster were you using?
I think I have a 5.
Oh no.
Yeah, I have a 5. So it was adding 10 light years to my jump. So what, where do I go to? Oh, self-destruct here at the bottom. Why won't it let me do it? Oh, because I'm in Super Cruise. Hold on. I don't know why I'm live streaming. I mean, anyway, no, that's the self-destruct, but that's not what I wanted. Where's the God? How do I turn my ship off?
Still recording.
Where is it? I thought it was in this menu.
How long?
Reboot repair. Oh, it's at the top of the menu. Okay, never mind. We're gonna reboot repair while I can't. All right, everybody say good night while I reboot and repair. Good night.
Good night,
Everybody say
Good
good night while I
night.
reboot and repair. Join
Bye. We love you. Join the Crown of Bones. Bye.
Mahon.
Mahon.